When it comes to love, we're all selfish. When we see the other person, and the only thing we think about is, how can I relieve this feeling of tension on the inside? How can I get them so that I could become happy? What's the quickest way to make this person like you? And just from the start, just from that mindset, you ruin it all. Where's my stick? You completely ruin it all simply because of this. You're starting out not thinking of the other person. Your motivation to make this happen is pretty much selfish. How can I fulfill this fantasy? How can I pigeonhole this person into this fantasy that I've created that's based on my insecurities and my desires? And this is where a lot of people, or you have as well, felt dissatisfied with their partners. Because you could sense that they're not really paying attention. And this is what I mean by paying attention. You're not paying attention to the person's energy. One of the things that you'll notice is that the energy of a person increases when you were absent and now you came back. You'll notice that, right? For example, look at dogs, right? Dogs, you'll notice that when a dog is a great reflection of human nature, at least the animal part, the uncontrollable emotional part, right? A dog, when you leave your dog, what you'll notice is that as soon as you leave, your dog gets into an anxious state. And all they think about all day is, when are you coming back, right? And when you come back, you'll notice that the longer you've been away, the more excited the dog is.
Dogs have a very similar makeup to humans. In its own way, that's why we're very wired. We're good together. Dogs are similar simply because
we also feel that, not intensely as them, right? Because they're a reflection of our higher nature, in my opinion. But that the absence is what makes your appearance larger than life in their minds, right? You see, everyone around us, the people around us, we all want to feel validated, right? And when we are around other humans and people are paying attention to us, reacting to us, giving us positive faces, it validates us, and it removes the doubt that we all experience when we're alone. So the presence of other people, the presence of somebody that we like smiling at us, right, reacting to us, makes us feel validated. And as soon as they leave, it's almost like a ticking time bomb, where a lot of people don't know how to validate themselves. A lot of people are not their own sources of positive emotions. They don't have an ecosystem of positive emotion that arises within them when they start feeling bad. So as a result, as soon as the person who validates us leave, there's a ticking time bomb. And each moment, each day that passes, everyone has a different threshold when they start going psycho mode, right? When they start getting needy. But as soon as it hits a certain threshold, all of a sudden you lose control. And the brain and your imagination, your insecurities start taking over. Where the absence, right, will bring the brain back to its natural insecure state. When you're around the lover, the person who loves you, or you love them back, you feel secure. As soon as they leave, the ticking time bomb starts. And naturally, your brain is insecure. Naturally, if you look at a child alone, by himself, even humans, they start to doubt themselves and start to doubt reality. And the deeper they are in that state, the more they're going to atrophy into the complete delusion and complete psychopathy, just going crazy. Because humans are not meant to be alone. Humans are not wired to feel doubt and feel alone and feel lonely and not feel validated, not be looked at for a certain period of time. It's like eating. If you don't give a certain person amount of food, they're going to die. Humans, if they don't feel validated by other humans, they self-destruct. They just self-destruct. And in your absence, they feel this descent into darkness. And what they do then, they naturally start to clutch onto whatever's closest, and they start seeking for more validation. And the thing that happens is that by them being alone, they'll start thinking of you almost like a dog who's sleeping by himself, but you give him the shirt of its owner, so they smell the shirt and they feel comfortable. They start to do this metaphorically, but with their mind's imagination, where they're going to start feeling alone, and rather than, since they can't physically reach out to you, they're going to start to mentally reach out to you. Heck, they might even try to do spells, but that's for another day. The mind will start to create an image of you, crystallize you, exaggerate your traits, exaggerate how tall, exaggerate everything about you, all as a way to escape reality, you're not there, and escape into a mind-made imagination. Everyone has fantasies, and it's pleasurable. And fantasies are there to relieve the tension of the adult experience, to relieve the tension of life, of reality, because it's heavy. So this image in their minds will start to crystallize, and every time they start to feel like they start to feel doubt or your absence, they return to this image. And one of the things that humans do is that you'll notice that when they're absent, when the more you love them, the more you're gonna have a recollection of them, of you making eye contact with them. That's one of the signs that your recollection is not egoic, meaning I'm not just remembering you because you're not there, but if your recollection is an image where you're making eye contact with them like a freaking anime, with like a fuzzy background, and it's like it's not dark, it's more like a fuzzy light, almost like me here, like, right? Like, that's when you start to fall in love with the person, right? But before this happens, one of the things about absence is that it makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt your capability, and it makes you fear the future when you're alone. And this doubt, right? Because you're like again, your brain naturally, I'm telling you, naturally it's always doubtful when it's alone. Naturally, it cannot function alone. It's humans are not wired to be alone, right? So this doubt will split them up inside, because humans need constant validation that you love them. Humans is almost like a building that's always falling. We're always at the brink of a breakdown, and we need consistent validation of what we believe about ourselves. Meaning, we need validation that we're still good looking. We need validation that we're interesting. We need validation that we're loved. Some people need it more than others, depending on their self-esteem, but everyone has that. And so when you give that person space, this doubt will increase how beautiful and powerful you are in their minds. And this is why solitary confinement is so detrimental to human psyche, because it literally is our kryptonite, loneliness, alone. And we fail to realize that the absence makes your presence more pleasurable. You give them an experience that's outside of this world, honestly. Love is one of those sublime experiences, one of those religious experiences that feel spiritual. And the level of your self-absorption, of your incapacity to feel pain, your incapacity to be able to allow yourself to feel doubtful and relax at the same time, is pretty much a reflection of how selfish you are. Because you have to be calm enough to give them the distance so that they can think of you and find pleasure in your thoughts. Because your absence will make the physical world around them more unbearable, but it'll force them to gravitate towards your thoughts and idea that brings comfort and pleasure. And I can promise you, if they like you, if they kind of have some interest towards you, you will be the only thought that provides pleasure. You will be the only thought that gives color to the world. And when you come back, then when they see you, they're not going to see you. They're going to see an aura around you. They're going to see, stop pointing at me, sorry. They're going to see an aura where, like, seeing something that was always in your mind come true, right? Like, oh my God, I've been thinking about them all week. Here they are. And the brain has almost like a religious experience when they see someone they've been thinking about for days, especially if you like them. Those days would feel like weeks. Those weeks would feel like months. And it'll just create like an effect where, almost like when your owner comes back and you're a dog, your owner comes back and you're like, oh my God, you're there. You lose control, physical control. You're just in a state where you're just frantic. You want to see them. You want to touch them. You want to hold them. And if this keeps happening, if this process, which is natural, because goddamn, you better not be around them all day. You're just going to turn them off. If this keeps happening, each time this happens, they're going to love you even.
Because when you love someone, you're going to suffer. That's the price of loving someone. is that when you're living in fear that they're not going to be there. And this is what happens with anything that you value, right? I'm always afraid that my channel's going to close. You know, I'm always afraid that my mom's going to die, that my dad's going to die, that my sister's going to die, right? And the level of love that I feel for them in that moment will be dependent about how close are they to their death, right? And this reminder can either happen through life or through me consciously thinking about the inevitable, right? And we tend to repress that thought from their minds by consistently validating them, by always being there. And people are like, you know, I don't like your manipulation strategies. No, it's not about manipulation strategies. It's about you learning how to be by yourself. Learning how to make absence or giving them space your own spiritual practice, because it goes against every fiber of your being to give them more space than necessary, right? And you start thinking and start finding pleasure and inflicting an appropriate and positive amount of pain. Meaning, you living your life, you going on vacation with your friends and not inviting your partner because it's you know, like for example, like I have trips with my friends and it's only guys, and my friend tells his girlfriend don't come, right? And she gets mad, but she doesn't come. And when he comes back, she loves him more. Stop having this overly dependent relationship with your partners. It's not healthy. You have to give them space. And if they cannot handle the space, if they start acting manipulative or try to guilt you, then that shows you that's a red flag on their part, not your part. If they cannot handle your absence, that tells you that they're controlling. It's a way to test their character. How do they deal with insecurity? Do they get aggressive? Or do they find a way to self-soothe? Or do they use you as a way to self-soothe? Do they blame you for it? Do they start telling you to change your behavior so that they can feel comfortable? That's a red flag. And if they do that, pull away even more. This is, again, we just don't do this when we like someone. It's not because we're thinking of them, but because we're being selfish. We're only thinking about ourselves. If you were tailoring, for example, Houdini's acts, a lot of the times he could have done most of his tricks in under a minute. If you watch Houdini, a lot of his acts are just him faking struggling, creating anxiety in the audience, making them think what's about to happen. Am I really about to see somebody die? And then right at the moment, he would like unlock the keys and stuff like that. But he understood human nature. He understood that that you gotta make them doubt a little bit. You're more beautiful when they doubt how you feel. You're more attractive to them when they feel like, when they have that sense of reality that maybe this is the last time I see you, or why are they all of a sudden so busy? What's going on? And are they really busy? Is Tyrone really good with them a discount, right? All of those things are things that anyone who ever fell in love think. And if they're really being honest about themselves, being proven wrong with your presence makes the experience worth the pain. Life is about feeling multiple feelings. And I know this hurts. I know you're making them suffer a little bit. But if they were really honest, they'll realize that the pain was worth the reward. Because seeing you and looking at you almost as though you're larger than life because you've been existing in their minds, and they were doubtful whether or not you were actually going to be there now, makes the experience so much more pleasurable. And just make sure you don't do this too much. You know, like this, if you do this too much, this can create resentment, especially if you're obvious. But sprinkle it in a little bit, man. We gotta stop being selfish. No, I don't feel right. It feels mean. You're being selfish. You're not thinking of themselves. You're not thinking of them. Of course, it feels a little mean. Yeah, I know you're inflicting pain, but it's like this. It's like the freaking Melissa, the mom who doesn't want to freaking punish her kid because she feels bad. Fuck that kid. He's misbehaving. You know, like it's a lot of times we're just being selfish because we don't want to deal with the pain of doing what you have to do. All right. Anyways, I just finished recording one of my courses videos about creativity. I'm really excited. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. I'm encouraging you to give them space, man. It kills them inside, but it makes you it makes the relationship feel more alive. Anytime you feel like things are a little cold between the two, create some distance, create a little doubt. You know, be a little bit more busy. You know, go on the trip with your friends and not invite them. This is not a toxic strategy. This is anyone who's healthy needs their own space, and if they cannot recognize it, it shows you some toxicity. But then one of the things about them is that people forgive you. You can hurt them, but they'll forgive you. And this type of pain is totally fine. You're not gaslighting them. You're not doing anything. You're just having your own personal space, man. If they can't handle that, that's a red flag. But if they can, if they're able to handle that, one, they suffered for you, right? And two, it shows you that even though it hurts, they're learning how to self-soothe. You know, one of the things about life is that the outcome is always anticlimactic. In other words, whenever you want something, the imagination was always more pleasurable than the actual experience, right? And if they do love you, what they'll notice is that they'll have a deeper desire for you when you're not there. And that doesn't mean that when you're there, all of a sudden they don't want you no more. No. It's that this is a perfect thing to prevent disenchantment. Because everything else in life, if you don't love someone, whenever you want something, you don't really know if you're really going to want it once you have it. That's what I mean by it's anticlimactic. And the reason why is just the nature of the brain to always make everything look better in your mind. It's just everything looks better in your mind. And if they really love you, what will happen is that there's going to be no low points. Even your presence, even though it's not exactly what they imagine, the fear of going back out and not having you again will intensify the experience of being with you. And this is why it's not really about being anything more than what you are. It's more about modulating how absent and present you are. You are enough already. Let their minds do the dirty work for you. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org. You see in the description down below.
All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I could tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club videos that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.